Have you ever noticed how easy it is to lie to yourself? Not the big, obvious lies. Those are harder to maintain. I'm talking about the quiet ones. The ones that whisper to you late at night, convincing you that you're doing fine, that you're on the right path, that tomorrow will magically be different, even when deep down you know it won't. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of us would rather live in those lies than confront the raw, often brutal reality of our own lives. Because truth demands change, and change demands pain. Comfort doesn't, but comfort is a prison. Think about it. Every day you wake up inside invisible walls you've built for yourself. You stay in the job that drains you because the truth that you're capable of more terrifies you. You stay in relationships that suffocate you because the truth that you fear being alone is unbearable. You hide your ambitions, your deeper desires, under layers of excuses because the truth that you might fail is too heavy to face. We call it safety. But what if it's nothing more than cowardice disguised as routine? Nietzsche once said, "Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed." He wasn't just talking about society or politics. He was talking about you and me, about every human being who clings to illusions because reality feels too sharp, too unforgiving. And yet, reality, however painful, always carries the seed of freedom. Let me give you an image. Imagine a prisoner who has lived their entire life inside a cell. The walls are cold but familiar. The routines are repetitive but predictable. One day the door swings open. Freedom is just a step away. And yet the prisoner stays inside. Why? Because out there, beyond those walls, is the unknown. And the unknown is more terrifying than captivity. That prisoner is you. Plato illustrated this in the allegory of the cave. The prisoners stare at shadows on the wall, mistaking them for reality. When one dares to escape, the sunlight blinds him. The truth is overwhelming, painful, and when he returns to free the others, they resist. They prefer the shadows. Because the shadows, as false as they are, feel safer than the light. Isn't that what we do today? We trade the light of truth for the soft, flickering shadows of distraction, scrolling endlessly on our phones, drowning ourselves in entertainment, swallowing whatever narrative makes us feel better. We don't seek truth. We seek anesthesia. But here's the irony. Every lie we tell ourselves makes us weaker. Every time we choose comfort over truth, we lose a piece of our strength. We shrink, and slowly, almost invisibly, we become prisoners, not of the world, but of our own minds. Think of Bonhoeffer, the German theologian who resisted the Nazi regime. He wrote about the stupidity of people who willingly surrendered their judgment, preferring blind obedience to uncomfortable reality. Bonhoeffer called stupidity more dangerous than evil itself, because while evil can be fought, stupidity is self-inflicted blindness. And I wonder, how much of our own lives are lived in this self-inflicted blindness? How often do we knowingly close our eyes, not because we can't see, but because we don't want to? The fear of truth isn't abstract. It shows up in the smallest details of your day. When you avoid looking at your bank account because you don't want to face your financial reality. When you silence your thoughts with music, podcasts, or noise because the quiet would force you to confront who you are. When you keep people around who don't challenge you because being truly seen is unbearable. It's not ignorance, it's willful ignorance, and it is deadly. Let me tell you a story. A man once dreamed of becoming a writer. He told himself he was waiting for the right time, the right inspiration. But years passed. He never began. Instead, he convinced himself that he was simply too busy, that life had gotten in the way. The truth was simple. He was afraid to see that his dream might fail. And so he clung to the lie of potential, because potential untested is safer than reality exposed. But here's the cost. Potential dies with time. What could have been slowly rots into what never was, and lies become tombstones for the dreams we never had the courage to test. Machiavelli once observed that people would rather deceive themselves with illusions of stability than confront the instability of life. He believed that most men prefer to live in false security than face uncertain freedom. And history proves him right. Societies collapse not only because of tyrants, but because ordinary people choose the comfort of silence over the burden of truth. And isn't that exactly what we see today? People scream for freedom, but choose chains. They blame society, politicians, systems, yet remain silent about the lies they tell themselves every day. Because the hardest tyranny to overthrow is the one inside your own head. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. What lies are you living right now? Are you telling yourself you're happy enough because it's easier than admitting your life feels hollow? Are you pretending you have time because it's easier than admitting you're wasting it? Are you hiding behind someday because you're terrified of today? Here's the truth. Your illusions are killing you. Slowly, gently, like a poison that numbs rather than burns. But truth, painful, raw, relentless truth, is the antidote. Of course, truth isn't gentle. It doesn't pat you on the back. Truth slaps you. It tears away the masks you've carefully constructed. It exposes every weakness, every compromise, every excuse. It hurts. But isn't pain the birthplace of growth? Nietzsche believed suffering was essential for becoming stronger. He called it amor fati, the love of fate. To not only endure suffering, but to embrace it as necessary, as transformative. And yet, most of us spend our lives running from it. The irony is staggering. We run from truth to avoid pain, but the lies we choose bring a deeper, more suffocating pain. The pain of regret, the pain of wasted years, the pain of looking back and realizing that the life you lived was never really yours. It was a story you told yourself to avoid facing reality. So maybe the real question isn't, why do we fear the truth? Maybe the real question is, how much longer are you willing to live inside the lie? Because here's the most terrifying possibility of all. You might never wake up. You might spend the rest of your life in the shadows of Plato's cave, in the comfort of your own illusions, in the quiet chains of comfort. And no one will come to rescue you. No philosopher, no savior, no friend. The door is open, but you must walk through it. So what now? You don't have to destroy all your illusions at once. Start small. Face one truth you've been avoiding. Maybe it's the truth about your health, your relationships, your purpose. Stare it down, even if it terrifies you, especially if it terrifies you. Because truth isn't the enemy. Truth is the beginning. And one day, when you've torn away enough illusions, when you've endured enough discomfort, you'll realize something profound. Freedom was never outside of you. It was always there, buried beneath the lies you chose to believe. The chains of comfort are soft, but they are chains nonetheless. And the truth, however sharp, is the only key that sets you free. So ask yourself, will you keep hiding in the shadows, or will you step into the blinding, liberating light? The choice has always been yours.